Today we're joined by Aaron Argueta, who is the co-founder and CMO of Bailey's CBD. So a few weeks ago, our team at Dispatch placed several e-commerce orders from Bailey's, and today we are breaking down every part of the customer journey. So Aaron, welcome into the lab. Awesome to have you here. Before we dive into our ordering experience, we'd love to give the viewers some context about who you are, your story, and the brand. So can you walk us through how you came to be co-founder of Bailey's?
My background's I'm a musician, and my business partner and co-founder and CEO Jay O'Keefe and I we actually met maybe like 15 years ago now, playing music on the road. I was a pickup artist, and I was on tour with him, and I was more focused on business studies and wanted to get out of playing music for work. And I was 18 years old, so I was going to college and on the road. And he was a corporate recruiter, and we just had a great time and became friends ever since. And about 2016, early 2017, um, we partnered up together to make a pet focused CBD wellness company, whereas the Farm Bill of 2014 federally legalized hemp with certain restrictions and limits. In 2018, the Farm Bill was amended for federal legalization of hemp in the United States. But in 2016, it was still this very gray area, and there were a lot of companies popping up that were doing um, everything under the sun, gummies, drinks, CBD oils, and a million different SKUs, vapes, smokables, topicals, and then they would maybe have a couple of pet products, as an auxiliary add-on to their brand profile. And yeah, we saw this opportunity in the growing pet industry to, double down on products made specifically just for pets and to corner that market for hemp CBD and the market that would soon develop. So yeah, we were definitely on the early side of starting it, and it started in Jay's kitchen, making small batches of 20, 30 bottles at a time. We were selling mostly to recreational cannabis dispensaries at the time, and smoke shops, and some pet stores here and there. And it was 100% organic. It started with literally 20 bottles and scaled into a seven-figure annual company that is today, over the course of the past, going on 9 years now, just from hard work, grit, reinvestment, passion, and us figuring our way, through this journey. So yeah, it's been a learning experience the entire time through, and we've had to overcome adversity and all sorts of interesting roadblocks. So yeah, it's been a fun journey, and I feel like we're just kind of picking up our momentum here. But yeah, that's a little rundown of how we came to be, and actually, yeah, to pay homage to Bailey the pug. Bailey was Jay's rescue adopted pug that had some health concerns, as many pugs do. However, he just had some genetic dispositions that, CBD. We found CBD was really powerful for his longevity and health and wellness. And so when we started, we wanted to make a product that was very like wholesome, touching from our pets to yours in a way that would not be so stigmatized and would be, family friendly, fun, warm, and in alignment with the pet industry as a whole. So, yeah, it all stems from Bailey the pug. Unfortunately, at the dear age of 13 years old last year, he crossed the rainbow bridge, and now his legacy lays on through the brand and is the core, heart and soul, and the reason why we do what we do.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for all of that background. I think I can say that musician, first off, is by far the coolest answer we've gotten to how'd you get started in terms of starting the brand. So that's awesome to hear. I also grew up with a couple of pugs in my parents' house, so I have a special affinity to them and definitely loved seeing the pictures of Bailey in your emails that we end up receiving. So yeah, very cool. I'm curious to know, like, it sounds like you guys really took advantage of that like first mover advantage in the pet CBD space when CBD as a market was starting to kind of mature a little. I'm curious to know, like, what was the initial market like for CBD for pets, and kind of, I guess, like the education that like had to be had at that time around the solution that is CBD for people's pets. And I guess like how has that changed fast forwarding to today when there obviously is a lot more maturity in the market?
Yeah, it was heavily stigmatized for the first maybe 4 years that we were in business. Um, everyone thought that we were just doing like marijuana or getting your pets high, and that certainly wasn't the case. And that's why we went into, our brand being so warm and fun and aligned more so with the pet industry than like the cannabis industry or the hemp CBD industry at large, which was more medicinal looking and pharmaceutical and almost like off the counter supplement looking across the board. To this day, some of the major players in the pet CBD space still procure that more pharmaceutical or medicinal look on the packaging. And for us, it has been an education journey. In 2018, we published a book, CBD for Dogs: A Practical Guide for Pet Owners in Need, and that's currently found on Amazon Kindle and other places across the web where you can get ebooks. And for many years, we would print these books and distribute them to our retail partners. We would take them to events. Um, that's been another big thing for us since 2017. Practically every weekend, we are out there in the field from my business partner Jay and myself to now we have an awesome team who helps us, scale events and capture a larger footprint. But every weekend, that's a part of being on our team is we're out there in the field, popping up at pet events, makers markets, home and garden shows, anywhere where there's going to be a family environment with people who are going to own pets. And we're out there on the front line, reeling people in, educating them about our products. Um, we do retractable banners with CTAs, ask how CBD can help your pet today. So naturally, we get people inquisitive that want to come up and just learn and have that conversation with us. We do have like educational trifolds, a lot of promotional QR codes and things that go to our website to also get people into our funnel and get in that education journey. But yeah, it's been a lot of in-person education, us also doing for our retail partners, we do in-store trainings. So if you are a retailer, Bailey's, we either offer a Zoom or an in-person training that goes along with our CBD for Dogs booklet and some other presentations that we have that really go into who we are, the team, how we do it, what sets our products apart, and how each SKU is developed to specifically help certain things or to be of value for pets who have certain concerns. So and then at the end, we'll quiz them and give them some gift cards or something to make sure that they're paying attention. And our store advocates end up being a really powerful source of education. They always have been. And we're currently sold in about 350 brick and mortar locations of mostly independent pet stores across the United States. And we have two independent sales reps that go out there and help us get into these stores. It's hyper competitive, so us having a lot of in-store promotional items like educational trifolds, booklets, window clings, shelf talkers, things like that. It really helps us get competitive. Also, we are partnered with the veterinarian, Dr. Robert J. Silver, DVM, who's our CVO, Chief Veterinary Officer. He's a renowned clinical veterinarian from Boulder, Colorado, who's one of the first veterinarians in the United States to carry raw food. In addition to that, he's one of the very first veterinarians in the 1980s to actually push forward the idea of cannabis for pets. He published a book called Medical Marijuana for Your Pets in the early 90s, and that set the footprint for the idea of pets in cannabinoid therapy. And he's done a lot of clinical studies with different universities, University of Illinois, University of Colorado, Boulder, and I think he also has a really prominent one in like North Carolina or South Carolina. And yeah, so Dr. Silver's our guy when it comes to education. All of our products are dosed according to his standards. For example, 1 milligram per 10 pounds of pet weight. And he has recommended caution in excess of 10 milligrams per 10 pounds of pet weight. So, there is a wide variance since every pet, just as with most supplements or products in general, it's not a one size fits all thing. And a lot of people early on in the market would have, very simple dosage recommendations and suggested use recommendations. With our CBD oils, we were able to get very granular. Inside of every box of CBD oil comes Dr. Robert Silver's 3-tiered dosage guide with all of the cautions laid out, and instructions on how to start and increase use. And also it shows his face so that way users at home, they can feel like they're getting that one-on-one veterinarian recommendation for their pet, and how to utilize the product to its full advantage. And so yeah, a lot of that goes a long way into helping educate the customers and us get competitive in the landscape. If there's pet stores that are sitting on CBD oils that don't sell, or customers don't come back and reorder them, a lot of times it's either price or lack of support with the product. You take it home and maybe you thought it was a good idea, but you're still new to it and you're wondering like, how much should I give my pet? It says, a half of a milliliter, twice a day, but I have a Chihuahua and then I also have a pit bull. You know, some people are going to be a little more skeptical, and we've seen that across the board where there is a lot of skepticism, and we want to help ease that. We also have a 24-hour 7-hour hotline, 844 pet CBD, where we have a Ruby receptionist that answers 24/7, routes it to our support team, and then myself and Jay, my business partner and CEO, we also answer calls in that rotation, especially if they are a little more in depth of conversations that need to take place. But yeah, having the hotline is really big. We have a storefront in Costa Mesa as well, our headquarters storefront in Costa Mesa, California. We do get visitors all the time that are recommended by their local veterinarian, since we do have now quite a bit of a reputation as a renowned pet CBD brand. A lot of local veterinarians in our area recommend the people that come in with certain conditions and concerns to visit us for pet CBD, and we'll have consultations with them in our store and help guide them to the right product and answer their questions. So from a local perspective all the way to a national perspective, that's kind of how we go about doing things. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
Got it. Okay. The biggest takeaway from me there is like just how much you guys have obviously taken control of like trying to do everything you can to educate the market. So not just like sitting by and I guess like hoping that the market gets educated and matures, but obviously like between forming the right partnerships, getting out there, actually like publishing a book, like really just playing that active role, to like create demand essentially for the products you sell through that education, which I think like a huge lesson that other brands could take. So that's awesome. How do you, Aaron, we're recording this in November 2025. How do you currently view the role that email and SMS play in growing the business?
Email and SMS are essential. We are partnered with agency for our email agency. They manage our account on Klaviyo for email, um, which is one of our strongest channels for acquisition and retention. And that tied with Subscribe and Save on Recharge. Those two platforms tend to be the stickiest way for us to acquire customers and retain them. And SMS, it's very tricky. We have to use a third-party cannabis SMS platform called Volt SMS that does not integrate with Shopify. So there is no manual integrate. There's no automatic integration for our SMS contacts to be entered into flows, or to be segmented. So it's really tough in that regard. We have manually export contacts and import them into this platform, and also through that process ensure that we're only importing contacts that have opted into SMS on during checkout or at some point in the funnel. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of maintenance. So if we have X amount of campaigns in a month, it's probably unlikely that fresh contacts are going to end up in more in recent campaigns. And it really is unfortunate that there's no solid Shopify SMS solution. We were on Emotive, we were on Klaviyo, we were on Attentive, and through the process of 2018 to 2023, all of them pretty much banned us from the platform for SMS due to 10 DLC restrictions on hemp CBD products. So yeah, the SMS thing is really tough. We that's why we opted to build a mobile app. We originally built our mobile app on the Shop Bailey's app that's available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store under TapCart, which is a Shopify app integration app builder. And just in September of 2025 here, we transitioned to App Brew, which is based in San Francisco, and they're a little bit more cutting edge as far as features, and they had some particular features that TapCart was lacking that provided a little bit better value for user experience that we really saw as being pivotal and essential. So yeah, that having Tapcart and now AppBrew as mobile apps been essential for, we have thousands and thousands of push notification subscribers that instead of SMS, we can send direct messages unfiltered with CBD messaging directly to a shopping experience. And we also are partnered with Novel Wallet Pass. Novel Wallet Pass has essentially um, a wallet feature for your phone. So just like you do tap to pay and you have a digital wallet, you can add a Bailey's Pass to your digital wallet, and we offer a $10 incentive and store credit for users once they're post purchase to on the order confirmation page to be able to download our Novel Wallet Pass. In the process, to download it, you have to enter your email directly opting into push notifications. So our strongest push notification list is on Novel Wallet Pass. The other thing with mobile apps, unfortunately, if you're unengaged and you don't open a mobile app within something like, I think it's like 90 days, your phone will automatically back up. It will not necessarily uninstall the app, but it'll offload the app. In which case, push notifications, if you're opted in those push notifications and you don't engage in 90 days, you have to re-download that app to get the push notifications again. So if we have users that are stagnant for more than 90 days on push, we have to, we end up losing them from our push notification flow unless they manually, update the app. And so with Novel Wallet Pass, the cool thing is push notifications never expire. The push notification opt-ins never expire. As long as customers have the Wallet Pass enabled, they can always get push notifications even if they haven't engaged. And that helps us, just increase our footprint as far as retention communication goes. And yeah, that's email is essential. I mean, we have a really tight relationship with agency. We work on a Slack board. We have a ClickUp calendar that they build out for us, and we work on optimizing flows and in a mix of campaigns and flows every month. And I think they're a really good partner for us to have. Definitely costly. So the speed at which we're continuously optimizing is, you know, it's good, but there's always room for improvement. I mean, you could always have flows with 15 emails in them on like a 45-day chain, but it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of resources to build out. So it is a ever growing progressive process that, it's like a living organism. We just keep kind of enhancing and optimizing it as we go.
Okay, sweet. That was super helpful. Okay, a lot to unpack there. I'm really happy you brought up like what you're doing with the app because I do have a bunch of questions around that. With that, I think it's a really good time to transition into our experience actually buying from Bailey's and going through the full customer journey. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now, and basically, we're going to start off with the website shopping experience. So Saf is going to walk us through her experience placing her order on the website. Basically, in the interest of time, I'm not going to hit every single note here, but as we are going through the customer journey, you'll see these sticky notes over here. And basically, there are sticky notes that are broken out either between strategy, copy, design, or miscellaneous notes. And these notes that we're going to be talking through are basically a middle ground between our unique experience as actual customers who have gone through the customer journey and how we felt receiving these touch points as customers. And then that's blended with our also unique experience of sending over 1 billion emails as a lifecycle marketing agency that works with 8-figure brands. So we have generated over $50 million in email marketing revenue. We've run hundreds of A/B tests, and we are constantly optimizing for our partners every single month. So basically, everything that we call out is going to be a blend of that unique insight that we possess and also our insights as actual customers. So with that said, you can take it away, Saf, on the order experience.
Okie dokie. So getting to the website, the first thing I was hit with was the pop-up, which is super cute. That picture of a beagle is absolutely adorable. And I'll pause there because there's some notes from the team.
Yeah, so you can go first with your note here, Kayla. I'll take Keena's after.
Just around collecting ZPD data. So, for example, you service two pets, cats and dogs. So knowing which pet someone has could be extremely valuable in like how you market to them and which products you show to them. So also kind of just curious if you've ever tested collecting data like that within your pop-up form.
Yeah, for many years we actually did that. We had a multi-step, kind of like a short quiz even. We've A/B tested as far as 4 steps to zero steps, and our conversion was definitely scaled accordingly. So the more steps we had in the process, the lower the conversion rate, and in the hopes of really dialing down users into getting as much of a funnel bucket as possible, we've removed ZPD from our main pop-up. We do have a exit intent pop-up that we run outside of holiday flash sales that does have one question where we do ask for who they're shopping for. Um, but yeah, for our main pop-up, we've opted to just get people's email address right away. We also use um, I'm sorry, we use open send. So about 30 to 40% of all users' activity is sent to Klaviyo directly. So if somebody's viewing like a cat product or if somebody's viewing a dog product, all of that gets plugged into Klaviyo properties, and we're able to sort our segment appropriately as well.
Got it. There's a few things there, Aaron, and this is for everyone watching this. So, number one, we have A/B tested this into the ground, and pop-up forms that collect zero-party data, like you actually want to collect zero-party data on the first step, and you want to blend that with a micro commitment element. So, there are a lot of examples that we've shared on previous episodes about that. So, I'm not going to go into it again here, but it's quite literally the highest converting pop-up form strategy that we have found. So the reason why I'm calling that out, Aaron, is because we're going to see this as we go through the customer journey, but there's a lot of value in knowing if an email subscriber has a cat or a dog, which obviously you know, and I understand the trade-off in like just the equation of collecting as many email subscribers as possible from your paid site traffic versus like collecting that data and seeing a lower conversion rate. We see like the highest conversion rate possible when collecting that zero party data, but it does involve a specific strategy in order to do that. So I know that you've A/B tested this, but it really should be something that you look into because of what we're going to see as we go through the rest of the customer journey and how much value is lost, I would just say, in not having that data point. So if it was that trade-off scenario, completely get it, but you shouldn't actually be seeing that. So if anyone else is watching this, like there is a really efficient way to collect that zero party data. And just in general, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, like how your pop-up form is performing in terms of opt-in rates. But for anyone watching, like we want to be aiming for between like a 10 and 15% conversion rate on our pop-up form. So converting 10 to 15% of our site traffic into email subscribers. And we want to basically be A/B testing until we hit that mark. So that's essentially like it on the pop-up side. And then you can take it from here, Saf.
So from there, I entered my email. I got the success pace. Gourd job is hilarious copy. I appreciate that. But from there, I went through browsing your site. I do have a cat and not a dog, so I specifically went through some of the cat products. Um, and then on that PDP, we noticed that the one-time purchase was pre-selected instead of subscribe and save. So I'll pause there for you, Elliot.
Yeah, so obviously, Aaron, there's so much value in driving subscription purchases versus one-time purchase, and like a lift that we could see there, that we have seen with other clients is like pre-selecting on the PDP, subscribe and save. But I'm just curious to know, like, what are your thoughts in how subscription plays into the like customer lifecycle in general?
Happy to actually address that. Yeah, it's essential. I wish for the life of me that we were able to do that, because we have CBD merchant processing through authorize.net with a high risk bank support backing it. Unfortunately, we would be shut off of our payment processor if we pre-selected subscribe and save. So we have to maintain and not be shut off from payments gateway purposes. We have to select one-time purchase as a pre-selected option.
Got it. Okay. Always interesting to learn like industry or niche specific things like that. So that's a really good call out. In terms of like subscription in general, like we'll see this as we go through the post purchase experience, but it's not communicated that much. I'm just curious to know like how you think of it as a brand.
Yeah, subscription's great. CBD products and pet CBD products in general. There is a lot of, you know, there is a lot of like, it's pretty iffy if people are going to want to maintain a subscription or select it. It's just one of those weird things. It's not like you're just buying like a regular treat for your dog. A lot of people want to make sure that's going to work, or some people might utilize it every once in a while versus daily, especially for calm support. That's why we do have delivery every 30 days, all the way up to 180 days. That way, if somebody is less frequent with it, they can, not feel like they're stuck with a product, or with a subscription that comes in a frequency that's not going to meet their needs. But yeah, subscription does about 40% of our revenue every month on autopilot. So it is a highly taken advantage part of our of our program.
Okay, interesting. So it represents 40% of revenue, but it's not something that you're like actively focused on maximizing. It's like if people decide organically for the most part to subscribe and save, huge plus. But if not, like you think that there's a large part of the customer base that just isn't going to want it. Does that sound
Yeah,
more or less right?
a lot of people are, I mean, for the most part, like one of your questions earlier, most people are still highly skeptical about pet CBD products. So
Yeah.
we really don't want people to, have resentment for our brand after, if they really only want to buy a one-time purchase. We try to make the UVP there, pretty clear as far as like, you're getting 25% off. You can pause or cancel. Best results if you use consistently. But there is still, maybe like 60% of our audience that is skeptical to the point where they don't want to subscribe with it until they've made at least one purchase, they've administered it, they've seen the effect with their pet, and now they're on board with it. So yeah, it is, very interesting because it is a very results driven kind of product.
Got it. Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. Like in some markets, that need to try the product first takes precedent over like a quicker subscription. Cool. Go for it, Saf.
So there was tons of super helpful information on the actual product page, which was very helpful, including like dosage information and all the things. From there, I added it to my cart. And then when I went to checkout, I was faced with another pop-up for add-ons, which is super good to see. Through the checkout process, I feel like everything was pretty standard, which I appreciated. The only thing I noticed there was for the review section to like, I guess, give a little bit more social proof. I did notice that I had a cat product in my cart, but only had dog product related reviews. So it would have been nice to see if that was any way to make it dynamic or if there's a way to like include both. I think that would just be a nice touch in my personal customer journey. From there, I placed my order and then was presented with another add on, which is good to see. And I'll pause there for you, Elliot.
Yeah, so the fact that you have a post-purchase upsell is amazing, and anyone watching this should absolutely have a post-purchase upsell option on their site. These typically can be branched based off of like products that someone is buying. So like the ability to have this be a cat product versus a dog product, just like seeing, and like this could be for both. I'm not really sure looking at it here, but it's just not immediately clear that that's it. And then like the other thing is when we're placing an order for 30% off, just seeing like that offer of 15% off right here isn't ideal. But I also assume that like in an evergreen period, when you don't have 30% off site wide, this is a better deal than your acquisition offer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I wish like getting into a better upsell app is definitely on the agenda for Q1. We're currently using Aftership personalization app, and there are holes with most Shopify apps. One of them is the personal. I mean, they call it Aftership personalization, but unfortunately, a lot of the data that we acquire uh, is not integratable, and it's not cross communicated. So um, yeah, it's one of those interesting points of data contention where, we just have an evergreen offer that's supposed to utilize buying behaviors from previous purchasers to recommend products that are gonna, you know, have high overlapping purchasing together. But yeah, the post-purchase upsell and the pre-purchase upsell are definitely on our Q1 agenda for heavily re-optimizing.
Got it. Okay, cool. Cool. Did you see this right away, Saf, or was this at a different point in the journey?
It was at a different point, which is why I just shifted it up.
Yeah. Okay, so we will get
Yeah.
back to that. Okay, so essentially the order was placed on the 25th, and the first email that was received, which was received after putting our email into the pop-up, was this email, which was this a welcome series email or is it a campaign? Do you remember,
It's a camp.
Aaron?
That's a
Okay, got it.
campaign.
So it must have just been like coincidental timing that was received. But this is a perfect example, and Saf and Kayla can speak to this better because they are customers. But I know that Kayla does have a few notes on like specific emails where like as soon as she sees that an email looks like it's about a dog product or like relevant to dogs, she doesn't care. Like she tuned out at that point because she's just interested in the cat content. And I am curious to know, Aaron, just anecdotally, like if you think like we're just giving that real customer perspective, but I'm curious to know, like with that trade-off of zero-party data collection in the pop-up form that would allow you to do this, like do you think that that is representative of how people feel or not so much?
Definitely is, and that's actually been a pretty active discussion over the past quarter with our email agency. Um, and yeah, that's another like kind of battle that we're doing with the agency to ultimately have dedicated journeys for dogs, cats, and horse, because we also make horse products as well, and to get deeper into segmenting. And yeah, this is actually a great example. I want to screenshot this and send this to my email agency because they're actually supposed to be segmenting people who only purchase cat products out of these types of campaigns. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I believe this was received before the order was placed. So like the same thing stands. I am curious to know like what the pushback that they or really anyone would have is to doing it. I know you said it's been a back and forth. I like we've done this across the board with a ton of different brands, like where there is like a black and white separation of who you're talking to and what they care about. And across the board, like we see higher engagement, higher conversion rates when we break it out. So I would be curious to like know what the other side of the debate is. But again, in the interest of time, we will keep it moving over here. So, okay, on to the next email. So we placed our order. Our order was confirmed, and we got this order confirmation email. The issue with this email, Aaron, is just that you have a really good incentive over here in terms of saying after you receive your item, if you reply this email with an image of your pet with their new item, we'll give you 20% off discount code. The issue is when you bury like really any message within a like standard Shopify transactional email like this, it's really easy to go unnoticed because I don't know like if this is your behavior too when you shop, but when I shop, I'm just so used to Shopify like order confirmation notifications that I just like open it for 1 second. I see it's the confirmation and I don't read any of this because I just assume it's like the default placeholder text. So I think like this is actually something we'll see in other emails along the journey as well. You have really good incentives and messaging here, but a lot of it just goes unnoticed when it should be focused on, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It does. And yeah, the shop with the standard Shopify emails, yeah, I definitely we set that up maybe like 4 years ago, and it's just kind of been sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, super standard, honestly, that like set it and forget it mode when it comes to flows. Like it's just what we see very consistently. But yeah, as the brand is growing, as things are changing, definitely really important to keep that updated. And I will say like it is a good place where like you can get Klaviyo involved in order to have this like as a dedicated message be sent post-purchase in a branded email template to just really stand out there. So next up, after we got the order confirmation email, we got this email that said your Bailey's pass. I've never seen this before. I know that you just walked us through like how this works technically. So I really appreciate that explanation. What is the value for the customer in this? Because it wasn't immediately clear to me. Like I do see this $10 over here, very like in small writing. Is it a $10 coupon? Like,
It's a store credit that, like essentially a gift card that's created for them, and they can use it in conjunction with the coupon code. But yeah, it's an embedded asset from Novel Wallet Pass. And that's actually been something on our Slack board with Novel Wallet Pass is having them update their embedded HTML display to make the UVP more clear.
got it. Okay, that makes sense. Still on the 25th, we got another email, which was a just shipment update, which is always just appreciated whenever there are updates that customers can know about. I'll let you take this, Kayla. This email we got 1 day later on the 26th. Oh, this is not
Oh,
yours, Kayla. Sorry, this was
no.
Kana's, who actually was not able to make the recording. I'll take this. So this is just one example, which we'll like continue to see again and again of like dog images being used for someone who placed an order for a cat. Where just kind of can lead to immediate like confusion, or if not confusion, just like there's a lot of like that people talk about when it comes to like personalization, and it often comes down to like using someone's first name or like doing some other things at that level, but like really having people feel like messaging is personalized. It's actually a situation we've seen this so many times where like it's only an issue if something is like not what you're expecting. So if like there's nothing wrong with this email, it's just that it's not what people are expecting, and it can cause immediate kind of confusion around like, is this meant for me? Because like I know like firsthand there is a clear line that is drawn between like dog people and cat people, and if you are a cat person, it just does sour the experience a little of like not seeing cute cats instead of cute dogs, I would say. So next email we got was on the 28th, and this was basically about the $25 gift card opportunity, which is in place for. Is there a like? Oh, it's for filling out the survey. Got it. And then you had a comment here, Kayla, about the copy.
Yeah, in general, I just love the copy. A lot of the time when emails that I receive are like that text heavy, like, I won't read the whole thing. But I skimmed like the first two lines and it just like instantly like brought me in just because it was hilarious. Like even that title of I'd like to offer you a bribe, I like burst out laughing and I was like, I have to read what this is about. So like really good job on like utilizing that copy and humor to like bring people in.
Yeah, I agree. I love your copy as a brand in general. Okay, so I had a comment about this. I think it was, yeah, I had the comment over here, but it actually comes up for the first time here. So this is the first time we're seeing any like mention of downloading like the app that you guys have on the App Store. And because of what you said about SMS and the value that push notifications have, this, like, if someone's not reading to the bottom of this email, they're not going to see it. And that's just a huge shame, honestly, to not be able to get that in front of someone. And like, that's just the recurring pattern where like it's at the bottom of these otherwise like kind of long emails. And this is like a big takeaway. So we have this whole like prescription section at the end, and we're going to try to like get through things a little quicker. But the main like prescription that we have, Aaron, really across the whole customer journey, is there's so many great things that you have as a brand and that you have as incentives, but a lot of it just does not get the attention that it deserves. And like, for anyone watching, again, we've sent a billion emails, driven $50 million in revenue through e-commerce email marketing. If something is important for someone to understand about your brand, about your offers, about your merchandising, etc., you cannot take the assumption we cannot make the assumption that they're going to like learn about that somewhere else on your website or on social media, etc. You have to like take the proactive step to put it in front of them. So for something as important like as your app, I like barely knew about it until you mentioned it. And I know that you mentioned like it is an important avenue because you don't have SMS. So that's just like the first call out where we see that kind of being missed in terms of the proactive requirement for someone to know about it. Okay, one day later on the 29th, you had this comment, Kayla, about like A/B testing navigation bar links. I'll just speak to that super quickly. So we typically see much higher like click rates in emails when we don't have this. And the reason behind it is like ultimately you're sending this email for a reason, and it is like a very important educational email. And if we just think through the like, I guess, logic or rationale behind it, if someone opens this email and they have these like buttons in front of them immediately, do we want them to click away instead of receiving this post-purchase email, or do we just want them to read the post-purchase email? So that's just one area where I think this could be optimized. And then I think also here, like Kayla said, like she typically skips long copy heavy emails. I also always skip long copy heavy emails. I just am busy, honestly. And when I'm going through my inbox, like if I see this much copy, I'm just not reading it. I do think like there are brands where that can be the exception. And if you have like really done serious A/B testing on copy heavy versus design heavy emails, that definitely like, and you have the results to kind of show copy heavy is the way, that makes sense. It's just for anyone watching this, like we typically see much lower click rates, engagement, conversion rates with text heavy emails. So this is potentially a unique scenario where like it's post-purchase and someone will read all of this. But because of how important the messaging is, like I would highly suggest testing this against a version that at the very least has like some images in between that kind of makes it look more like a blog, where you can like include an image of a pet. You can include an image of like the first iterations being done in the kitchen that you talk about. You can include a picture of Dr. Robert Silver, just to like avoid someone seeing it and immediately bouncing off. On the 30th, we got another email about the $25 gift card inside and how to claim it. I do think this is a really good example of like, this is just a good initiative, like strategy wise, in order to get someone to place their next order. And it's a good incentive that you have. It is really interesting that like you're pushing reviews to Google and Trustpilot instead. I mean, not instead of, because there are a bunch of review emails that we'll see in a second, but curious to know like why that's a core part of your strategy, Aaron, like sending the reviews out there.
Yeah, Trustpilot and Google give us a lot of local precedence and add to our SEO efforts a little bit. I mean, I think we're a little bit better than our Yotpo setup, especially for site reviews. But yeah, Trustpilot's one of our, I'd say, like just uh, it's one of our best assets overall for social proof, and it adds a lot of SEO value. But also, we work with Bird Eye as our one of our third-party review collecting apps. So that link takes you to like a Bird Eye generated URL where you can opt to review us on Facebook, Google, or Trustpilot. So also, I think it just gives users a little more flexibility to leave a review on a platform that they might already feel a little more aligned with.
Got it. Okay, cool. And do you know, like off the top of your head, if you get a lot of replies to this email?
We do, yeah. It definitely is a popular, part of that process.
Okay, cool. Cool. So Saf had filled out the survey that was basically put in as a CTA in the other email. And with that, she got this $25 gift card to apply on a future order, which is great. So that came through with like another order confirmation of that free gift card that was there. There was another email that was sent. I was just curious to know if this is sent after every single purchase, like this wallet pass.
I believe only if they haven't downloaded it yet. Yes.
Okay. Oh, so it's the
And that's
same one technically. Like it didn't come
yeah.
because of the second order.
And that email is set up through the novel Wallet Pass Shopify integration. So it's not hosted on Shopify. It's not hosted on Klaviyo. It is hosted directly on Novel Wallet Pass. Um, and they don't really have a lot of flexible like options for it. That's another thing that I've been
Mhm.
talking to the creator of Novel Wallet Pass about, like, having more tailored segmenting efforts for that.
Got it. Okay,
Especially
cool.
because we have some save customers and, if they're on a purchase every 30 days and it might be like become redundant if they, are receiving that email every time they purchase.
Yeah, for sure. Kayla, you want to speak to this point that you had?
Yeah, just there's a lot of really important and good information in this email, but it gets kind of lost with just kind of like the copy, text heaviness of it. And yeah, it's like a lot to read through, but like it is very important to know, like there's important notes and things on that. So just finding ways to like break this up a little bit into more digestible segments or information and education for people would go a long way in making sure they're educated. I also noticed like that first image, I believe it's supposed to be a link to a video, but I didn't realize that when I opened the email just because the like play button is really small. So if we do want to like get people to watch the video and that's a better way to educate them, then um, remove all the text. Just make that button bigger and get them to take that action rather than going through all of this really text heavy education.
I'm
I love
assuming your agency didn't design these emails, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually created both of those flow emails in 2019 or 2020,
Yeah.
and they've just been sitting in our thank you series. And our thank you series has something like, like 15 or 18 emails in it. So we maybe optimize like 3 flow emails a month with our agency.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been it's been on the to do list for a while. But I love these notes for sure.
Got it. Yeah, and I think like this actually comes kind of full circle to like how we started the conversation and what you were like letting us know about at the beginning of the call, Aaron. Which is like you're so big on education and like everything is kind of stuffed into like one or two emails here where like if someone doesn't read it, they're not getting all that education. And I think like the reason why it's so important is because you also said that like people need to try the product and they need to like see the value in it before they come back and buy again, obviously, and start a subscription. And like, not to jump ahead, but I know like Kayla mentioned, like when I asked her, how is your cat enjoying the product? She said transparently, like she hadn't been like continuously using it because like there weren't really like reminders or the like content that should have been here to like build the habit for her. So it's basically like two really text heavy emails and then a lot being missed or just like not given the spotlight it deserves that could ultimately be the difference between someone building up that habit and really buying in to why they need to be using CBD consistently over that first 30, 45-day period or not at the end of the day. Cool. So basically, next up, we got a follow-up email asking for a review outside on those other platforms. I noticed the $25 offer like isn't reiterated here when it was there previously. So I don't know if that's like just a case of like forgotten area there. I know you said a lot like hasn't been updated in a while, so I assume because it's the exact same like CTA. Next up, next day, we got another email here. This is another really important email for a new customer to get, but like it is immediately alienating customers that won't read. Like I would never read an email that came into my inbox like this, and that's such a shame because of how good the actual content of it is and how important like that CTA and that education around the monthly membership is over here. So that is definitely like where I would prioritize some resources in terms of really making sure like that gets communicated properly over here. Next up on the 7th, we got another like reminder follow-up for leaving a review. One note here is that we received all of these review requests before the product was actually delivered. So there's a way, I don't know if like this is because of the app that you're using. Typically like we use Klaviyo for as much as we can here for like a reason like this, where we have just more control over the triggers to make sure that the emails are being sent like at the right point in the customer journey. So basically after we know that an order has been delivered. So then we got a bunch more review request emails that came in. You should absolutely be excluding like gift card orders from triggering on like the review request flow. So I believe this is probably coming from Klaviyo, if I had to guess, or no, it's coming from Yotpo. There should definitely be a way though to filter out like the gift cards, especially if so many people are claiming them. Because it's like with all of the review requests that come in, it could just be like the final straw of someone saying like, this is too much. Like I'm gonna unsubscribe here. And yeah, I think that's how Kayla and Saf kind of felt going through the journey. Next up, got a few more campaigns, another review request. You had a comment here over, yeah, this is basically the same thing that we kind of talked about where Kayla got this email and immediately was like, oh, this is for dog owners, not cat owners. So I don't really need to look at this. I don't know if this is a campaign that like your agency designed and sent, but it really is very easy. It's not easy, but like once you have the process set up, you can design an email using dynamic content pretty efficiently where like one person who you know with that zero party data that you collect in the pop-up form has a cat is going to receive an image of a cat. And then the other person who has a dog is going to receive an image of a dog. So a lot of people like only use that zero party data in flows, but this is a good opportunity like for the campaign side of things as well, to also incorporate it and avoid customers kind of feeling like they don't want to open every email from Bailey's because half of them are just not going to apply to their situation. And then there's one like design note over here. Do you want to speak to this, Lauren?
Yeah, it's very minor, and I think I already know what the reason behind it is. So we have two different color CTAs, which is completely normal and fine. And I'm assuming that it's orange in the top one because it's in your first module, and then we get into the next one and it starts with orange again before we alternate to green. But it just because they're one after the other, the two oranges before alternating colors feels a little bit weird to someone who might not necessarily understand that, oh, it's because it's two separate modules. So on just switching the first and the second module to a green and starting that alternation the different way would just clear that up.
Yeah, and we actually did like do a complete redesign of one of your emails, Aaron. So again, this is based off of hundreds of A/B tests that we've run. Like if there's anything that doesn't look on brand, that's cool. We can live with that at this point. It's really just like how to optimize for as many clicks and conversions as possible. And this really is a science of understanding like where elements should be placed. So Lauren led this redesign. You could speak to it, Lauren.
Yeah, the top module really we wanted to just add some contrast because the imagery of the dog is so prominent and we want to make sure that it's as clear as possible. In the original one, the orange and brown color of the dog kind of blends in with the background a little too much, so we wanted to switch and have a dog that really stood out to show that imagery. We also wanted to clean up the copy and really just make it like emphasize the punniness, but like it's a good punniness, right? Like we've all said how much we love the copy, and I'm no different. I think it's great. So I wanted to highlight that and really just highlight, like, focus on the specific information that we want to clear up and get across. Highlight the 30% off just as clear as it is. And then as we scroll down, specifically with your recipe one, which I think is a really cool way to do it, we just wanted to highlight that information a little bit differently so that the blocks really stood out for anybody who's reading it. And we added some of the, we added some contrast with the icons so they stood out a little bit more too. And at the bottom, especially now that how much we know about Bailey in particular, I'm happy that we were able to, with these little CTAs at the bottom, emphasize the icons of Bailey a little bit more, as opposed to having it competing with not only the copy on top but the copy on the bottom. So really just any way we can to have the information stand out and be easier for anybody to see.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing here is just like cutting down all of this, like saying what you need to say in less words is always going to lead to more engagement, ultimately more clicks to the website, more people that can purchase. Any thoughts like at a high level on this, Aaron?
This redesign is incredible. This is actually what I was hoping for when we switched to agency. And wow, no, this is really amazing. Yeah, we switched to agency in June 2024. We were with another agency prior to that called and we were at like a 2% to 3% average click rate. And since we've been with agency, we've been somewhere around like a 0.3 to 0.5% click rate.
Oh, wow.
It's like an immediate notice. Honestly, like the previous design elements were not, they didn't like the agency design, like even this one that's right here to the left, it looks a lot better than what we had with, but I guess like what you guys are attesting to, simpler the better. I absolutely love how your elements on that redesign all, are very strategic. It's minimal, and like the color patterns are flowing into each other. There's not like a lot of white background, empty space. It looks very strong from a branding perspective, and also the minimalist effect is, yeah, I think that would definitely increase click rate. Dang, this is incredible. This is awesome. This is good stuff.
Really appreciate the kind words, Aaron. For anyone watching, I asked Lauren to put this together in a few minutes, so don't look at this as our best foot forward. But with that said, still really appreciate the kind words, Aaron. Cool. So basically, moving on, just like the really important things here. Here's another example of like calculate your pet's dose. So important, but like completely buried and just not given the spotlight that it deserves when it can literally be the make or break between someone like getting the value out of the product or not. And I know you said like that insert is there in the packaging with that information, but like if you feel like it's worth communicating at all in your email, which I do, like it should be a dedicated email to make sure like those eyeballs are on it essentially. Over here, this is where like I just think that there's like we just really try and look at email and SMS as tools that can be used to like further the business's overall goals. And over here, when I know like you said these haven't been updated in a long time, but when I see like use code comeback 25 for 25% off your next order, if we're trying to incentivize a next order at this point, like why not try and push for that subscription if it is in the business's best interest? And like, just to speak really quickly to something you said before, Aaron, 100% understand not wanting to, I forget the wording you used, but not wanting to like hook people onto it or have them look at the brand as a certain way because they're on a subscription. But there's so much value in just like clearly communicating to people how to get the most out of their subscription, letting them know like you can cancel it whenever you want, you can pause it whenever you want, anything else that your subscription platform like offers them in terms of that capability. If that's communicated in like a clear, proper way, I wouldn't worry about like the problems that might happen if they do start a subscription and don't place another one-time purchase. Because the fact of the matter is like everyone's busy and just like the like having to get someone to remember to place that next order isn't like ideal. So if there's already an incentive, like why not use that for subscription? And that's just based off our experience working with a ton of CPG subscription brands. Cool. Received another campaign, a few more review request emails, and that basically brings us to the end of our customer journey. I do like my biggest takeaway, and I think like Saf and Kayla can definitely speak so much better to this as customers. But my biggest takeaway is just that like there's so much amazing information that I have like learned in talking to you over this past hour about the brand that I just didn't know when I was actually reviewing these emails, and that Kayla and Saf couldn't really have known when they were receiving these emails over the first like 30, 45 days. Did that sound fair, like Kayla and Saf?
Yeah, like I got the product for like calming purposes for my cat, and there's clearly so many more benefits to the product than just calming. Um, and I definitely didn't get that information or digest that information, even if it was there. So it was definitely missed. And as well as that like consistency use. I remember when I first got the bottle, it does say like, oh, you should use it for like X amount of days. And I was like, okay, cool. And I think for the first 2 days, I gave it like regularly, maybe in first 3 days. And my cat did really, really love the drops. Every time he smelled it, he came running. Um, but then it just kind of life gets busy. I have kids. I forgot about it, and it's on the counter a little bit out of sight, out of mind. And every once in a while, I'd see it and like, oh yeah, let me use this. So just having some more usage and benefits to consistently using it would have definitely got me to place a second order because it's a good product. I just haven't used it all.
Yeah, that's really well said, Kayla. And I'm not going to go through all this, but like the ways that that could have been done are like promoting the dosage calculator in like a really clear way, like really messaging the fact that like consistency is key and that CBD is going to work best when you use it on a regular cadence, helping to like find a routine cue. So like letting them know like the best times to like get this done is going to be like during the morning feeding, during nighttime wind down with your cat, like to build that daily habit. And again, it's like there's an assumption that can be made of like, oh, they'll figure it out. But as we're hearing from Kayla, from her like real customer perspective, which is why I love LTV Lab, like that didn't naturally happen. So going out of your way to like plant that seed in their mind of like, oh, this is when you should be doing this, can go a really long way and is ultimately going to be the most important determinant of if they place that second order or not, like if they actually use the first product. So yeah, like there's a ton here. I'm not gonna go through all this, but like at a really high level, it's just like ensuring that like that habit formation can be done and product consumption is built into our messaging. Ensuring that like all key messaging and CTAs are clearly communicated. So like there's a lot that you guys have that's amazing as a brand, and like it just needs focus on and like a spotlight on each of those things, because otherwise like there's no way people are going to know all of these amazing things, which are eventually going to ladder up to them deciding that like I need to buy CBD from Bailey's and not anyone else. Also, like the other thing that wasn't here at all, I'll say, is like cross-selling into other categories. So like if like Kayla just said she bought it for her cat's anxiety, but like if there is an opportunity for them to identify that like you guys have a solution for hip and joint support, for skin and coat nourishment, for immunity and gut health, like that, it's not obvious, I would say, for all customers that you sell every one of these products. So just really like being clear on that to cross sell is really important. Yeah, and then I think I actually had it here. This is a really important one, but like how does a customer know that the CBD product is effective in terms of like providing a solution to the problem that they have? So just letting a customer like Kayla know, like what will reduced anxiety look like? Like what should your expectations around like hip and joint improvement look like? And then providing specific timelines around like if you give this to your cat daily for a week, this is what you can typically expect to see. Around 4 weeks is what you would typically expect to see. And then at the 3 month mark, here's what you can expect to see. So that like if someone like Kayla gives it to her cat twice and says like, okay, like it was good, but like it's not clear enough as like why I need to do this every day for 3 months, which ultimately is like in the best interest for their cat, but also for you as a business. We want to make sure like we're thinking of those business level goals in our messaging. And that's pretty much it. Subscription program we talked about, and then mobile app. I wrote that I was unsure of like the current value adds, but obviously it is really important. So just making sure like that emphasis is placed there as well. I know it's a lot.
But this
Um,
this is incredible. A very thorough, breakdown, and honestly much better than our current email agency has done for us so far. And like, wow, that's very powerful. Like that's the kind of high level review that I've honestly been looking for our buying process. So, wow, really incredible, impeccable work, guys.
yeah, this is like what we do, I would just say. Like, we work with eight-figure brands primarily. We take our work super seriously, and like my background, like, is coming from working as an e-commerce director and growth marketing manager. So really, just like understanding the full e-commerce ecosystem, customer lifecycle is really what we specialize in. But thank you so much, Aaron. I really appreciated the time. This was a really fun episode, and yeah, I'm really excited to get it out there. So thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for your time today.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of LTV Lab.